So I played Dead Space, the remake for the PlayStation 5. And it's a good game. Oh my god! You fucking freaked me out, you fat fuck! The zero gravity in the remake is a lot better than the zero gravity in the first Dead Space game. In the original Dead Space game, the zero gravity was strange because you would choose a wall, or ceiling, or floor, and fly to it. This was a problem because things would quickly become really confusing. In the remake, you have the freedom to just free fly. So this feature was, I think the feature of the free flying was in Dead Space 2 and 3, but it wasn't in the first Dead Space. Oh, what the hell? It's a hologram. I wasted bullets on a hologram. What the hell? One major difference I noticed is that the remake forces you to use every gun in the game because you find every gun in the game. I think in the original game you had to buy your guns. So many times I'd beat the original game with just 4 guns and that was it. But in the remake, you get all the ammo for all the guns and it just forces you to use all the guns. A big change I noticed in the remake compared to the original game is the train. So in the original game, the train would just automatically take you to where you need to go and you couldn't backtrack. But in the remake, you have the freedom to go anywhere you want in the train. The only downside is that you have to wait longer in the train. I personally don't care about this change. I like the original where it just took you where you needed to go. I love the lighting in this game. The lighting truly makes it feel like you're isolated in space. There's this one section of the game where, you know, you're talking with the other guy and you can look out the window of the space station and see the sun and a planet in the distance. And it's just black, it's just dark and lonely. With just like, I don't know. It's just, they did a really good job at making it feel like you're isolated. So there's this section in the game where you have to turn on these automatic cannons to destroy the asteroids because asteroids are destroying the space station. In the original game, it's more like a arcade game where you're shooting all these rockets at the asteroids while your partner is trying to get the automatic aiming back online. But in the remake version, you're flying in space and you have to program these individual different cannons to hit the asteroids. So it's completely different. I personally like the original more. I don't know. It was just, the original felt more intense. I call this the section with the unkillable monster. Many people say this is the first boss. This is pretty much the same as the original game. There's nothing different. It just, the part sucks. It's stressful. You're being chased by a monster that just doesn't die. In order to kill this unkillable monster, you get to the section where you have to shoot all of his limbs down, slow him down in this like ice chamber, and then you freeze him, and it like sends him off into space or wherever he goes. I don't even know where he goes. So there's a point in the game where the space station is running out of oxygen, and you have to restore the oxygen levels so you don't die. In order to do this, you have to kill these ugly, mutated, bloated-looking guys that are putting out toxic chemicals in the air. In the original game, you just shoot them and you kill them. Well, in the remake, you can't just shoot and kill them. You have to run up to them and inject some sort of like chemical in them to kill them. And I didn't know this, so I wasted a lot of ammo.
That doesn't work. I tried. Get close and try injecting the enzyme. Save your time.
That sucks. I wasted all that ammo on them. So throughout the Dead Space game, there's this nasty tentacle that will come through the wall and grab you and will drag you into the hole from where it came from. If it drags you into the hole, you die. In this situation, you have to shoot the big yellow blob on the tentacle, which will cut it in half and you will survive. It's a lot easier said than done because this stupid thing killed me so many freaking times. It was very frustrating. So we get to the first official boss. I consider this the first boss. It's in zero gravity, so you can fly around. There's this big blob that has these tentacles that come out and kill you. You can either dodge these big tentacles, or you can disable them if you shoot them correctly. Eventually, the main mouth opens up, and it starts spitting these big balls at you. You can either dodge the balls, or you can throw the balls back at this thing. You have explosives you could throw at it, or you could just shoot it until it dies. It's pretty basic stuff. I mean, this is like a basic boss battle. I don't know why I struggled so much in this part of the game, but it's the part where you have to turn the gravity back on, and you have to basically get rid of all the debris inside this room. So in order to do that, you have to destroy these space rocks. So you destroy the space rocks, no big deal. You turn the gravity back on, and then you get ambushed by just a crap load of monsters. And I don't know why, but I died so many times in this part, it just took forever. Fuck off! Fuck, man! Okay, so I consider this part the holy grail of Dead Space. It is the part where you have to send out the communication signal for help. Now, if you don't know what to do in this section, you will waste hours trying to figure this out. I'm going to break it down. I'm going to break it down for you. So this is a big spoiler. This is what you do. You go into the room. You see that big asteroid, and it has these metal arms that swing around it. What you need to do is slow the arms down, fly onto the asteroid, walk on the outside of the asteroid. You put your communication signal device on the outside of the asteroid. Then after that, while in space, on the outside, out in space, you fly to like these contraptions that are keeping the asteroid in place. You slow those down so you could shoot the device to disable it. So you do that on both sides, in space on the outside. Then you go on the inside, you slow those devices down, and then you destroy those contraptions, and then that gives you the freedom to push the asteroid out into space, and then you're done. Isn't that simple or what? Okay, so the most frustrating monsters in Dead Space is this monster that is stuck to the wall. It's like this human merged into the wall, and he has these tentacles that come out of his stomach, and then these tentacles attach to the wall, and then he spits out these little shooting tentacles from the floor. Lots and lots of tentacles in this game. These assholes are really hard to kill. Now we come to the communications puzzle. Now in this puzzle, you have to move antennas around and connect them in the right spot. In the original game, it was pretty simple. You just have to line all the antennas up in a beautiful circle, and then that was a puzzle. But in the remake, this took me probably an hour to figure out because you have to make sure all the antennas connect together, but each antenna has like its own little pathway pattern, and you have to align all the patterns together. Now, after that puzzle, you have to fight a boss that is out in space. Now, this boss has tentacles. You're flying around in space, and you have to fight this thing with space cannons. At some point, this boss starts spitting out big giant balls. So that's all this game is. It's just a lot of tentacles and big balls. The unkillable monster comes back, and you have to kill him again. Instead of freezing him, you have to catch him on fire this time. Here's what you do. You shoot off all of his limbs like before so he can't move, and then you slow him down, and then you run into the control room and turn on the spaceship's rockets, and boom, he's gone. He's toast. At the end of the game, you come across what is known as the marker, and this is like an alien artifact. In the original game, in order to move the marker around, you had to use your own force, and it was a bit of a time-consuming pain in the butt. But in the remake, they get rid of that. In order to move the marker around, you just simply activate a computer screen and the marker moves. I thought that was a good change. I like that. Then we come to the last boss, and this is a simple boss. You just shoot all the glowing balls on him. He's got just a bunch of glowing balls on his face. You shoot those, and then he's got glowing balls on his chest, and you shoot those, and then he's got one final glowing ball in the center of his head, and you shoot that, and he's dead. And that was Dead Space. That's Dead Space, guys.